Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to be breaking down the prelims of UFC 324 coming up this weekend. Going to be great. UFC's finally back after a 6-week layoff, but we're going to be breaking down the fights on the prelims. Already broken down the early prelim fights, so if you want, go watch that video. Because of the changes and the fight cancellations, two of the fights, Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson and Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas, have been moved from the early prelims up to the prelims. So I'm just going to be breaking down those fights as well. So, I'll give you a quick overview on what I've already said about those. So for Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson, I'm picking Charles Johnson. I think he's probably going to win by KO TKO in the later rounds. He's on a bit of a streak at the moment. He did lose one to Ramzan Temirov by decision back in March, but he just beat Lona Kavanagh, a good contender, and he was on a 4-fight win streak before that, lost to Ramazan Temirov. So I think he's number 13 ranked. Alex Perez, number 11 ranked. Alex Perez is on a losing streak at the moment, 2-fight losing streak. He's lost to Tatsuro Taira and Asur Mabev. He beat Mateus Nikolai, but before that he was on a 3-fight losing streak to other contenders. And from his loss to Davison Figueiredo in his title challenge all the way back in 2020. So really, he's gotten one win in the last 5 years, and that was against Mateus Nicolau. Decent win, not the best. He's been losing to contenders. I think Charles Johnson's going to finish him. I think Alex Perez is on his way out of the top 15, and they're just using him as name value. They're going to feed him to another up-and-coming contender outside of the rankings. He might give him Lona Kavanagh. Lona Kavanagh just lost. Could be an easy win for Lona Kavanagh to get him up from the number 15 spot, and Alex Perez at that point will probably be out of the top 15. So moving on, Modestas Bukauskas versus Nikita Krylov. Modestas is on a 4-fight win streak at the moment. He's beaten Paul Craig, Jon Cutelaba, Rafael Caquera, Martin Bracnio. Nikita Krylov is on a 2-fight losing streak at the moment. He's lost to Bogdan Guskov and Dominic Reyes, both by KO TKO. And seeing how Dominic Reyes' last fight turned out, where he got KO'd by Carlos Ulberg so quickly, that is really not a good loss to have on your record. So I think Nikita Krylov, he was on a 3-fight win streak before that, but he beat Ryan Spann. He did beat Oezdemir, that's good, but he beat a deflated Gustafsson before that, and he's lost to Paul Craig. He's lost to Ankalaev. He's not been doing very well in his career. I think Nikita Krylov, he's not. I don't think he's going to remain in top 15 yet. I think they're just feeding him to contenders at this point. And Modestas Bukauskas, he's got that momentum behind him. I think he's really, I think he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to win quite an easy decision, or he's going to finish him in the later rounds by a KO TKO. Moving on. So this is a fight I haven't covered yet. Atiba Gutierrez versus Andre Puliev. This is going to be a really fun fight. Atiba Gutierrez, 4-fight win streak, all KOs, 3 of them in the first round. He did well in the Dana White Contender Series. He did get held down quite a bit, but he managed to get back up. And then, TKO Uri Naito. He KO'd Jose Daniel Medina in the first round with a knee when he was going for a takedown. That's good. Robert Valentin, he got him with a punch in the first round at opening minutes too. That's good. Tristan Vines did kind of hold him up against the cage for a little bit, but then Atiba Gutierrez just, decimated them. I think Andre Puliev, I don't think he did beat Nick Klein. Not a bad win. KO'd him in the second round, but that he's not going to be able to win by KO in this fight. That's not really an option for him. He's going to have to try and get to a decision. He's won in his 2 fights in the Dana White Contender Series. He beat Liam Anderson by decision, but then he lost to Christian Leroy Duncan in his debut. So I think his only real way to win is to keep it on the ground. I don't know if he has the skills for that. He might, but I think if Atiba Gutierrez gets back up, I don't think he needs much. I think he'll probably finish him. I think in the first round, Andre Puliev can do well on the ground, maybe keep it safe on the feet, but I think in the second round he's going to get finished by Atiba Gutierrez. I think it's going to be a pretty brutal knockout. I think they're really pushing Atiba Gutierrez. They want him to get into the rankings. He's probably going to get a top 15 shot after this. Andre Puliev, he doesn't really have as much hype behind him. He's a decent fighter, but I don't think he's going to get a ranked opponent. Even if he wins this fight, he's going to need to go on a bit of a streak. So I think they're pushing Atiba Gutierrez. I think he's going to win. I don't think it's going to go to distance. I think it's going to be a KO TKO in the second or first round. Moving up, we have Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davison Figueiredo. this is a pretty exciting fight in the bantamweight division. If Umar wins this, he's definitely looking at a title shot. Figgy, at this rate, no, he's definitely not. He's had a bit of a rough run of it as it is. He's lost to two of the top fighters in the division, Corey Sandhagen, Petr Yan. Got picked apart by Petr Yan to do a decision. Some people are arguing he could have won that fight. I don't think he did. Corey Sandhagen TKO'd him in the second round. Really not good. His knee got busted up in that fight. And against Montel Jackson, we saw again, he won against Montel Jackson by split decision. And his knee really was a weakness in that fight. And I think he doesn't have with that knee, he doesn't have the grappling to keep it up with Umar. And Umar's good on the feet too. I think really Umar's going to win quite an easy decision for himself here. He's going to keep it. He's going to choose where the fight goes, whether it's on the ground or on the feet. And I think he wins in either case. I see Figueiredo maybe winning a round, but other than that, I think it's going to be a complete domination by Umar Nurmagomedov. I think Figgy's on his way out. He just doesn't have that same power at bantamweight that he does down at flyweight. Umar looked really good against Mario Batista. He looked really good against Merab, and he beat Corey Sandhagen. He decisioned Corey Sandhagen in quite a bit of domination. I think the fact that this is 3 rounds really helps Umar out. He doesn't have to worry about cardio. He can push a hard pace, which he did in that Merab fight. He pushed a hard pace for 4 of those 5 rounds, so that was a really good look for him. He won 2 of the rounds against Merab. Arguably could have won a third maybe, but I think Umar looking to get that title shot again. I think he beats Davison's Figueiredo. I don't think he finishes him. He might KO TKO him in like the 3rd round, but I think Umar's going to win a pretty decisive decision here and get himself that next title shot, or against Petr Yan, or get himself that fight up against the winner of Song Yadong, Sean O'Malley. So yeah, I think Umar, he's got all the momentum behind him right now. He's looking like a great prospect. He's very technical, very skilled. I just think Deiveson Figueiredo doesn't really have anything for Umar to worry about in this fight. I think Figgy's going to lose this one, which is quite sad, but maybe a drop back down to flyweight would be good for him. Brandon Moreno not really in the title picture anymore. He could look to maybe fight an Alejandro Pantoja again if Pantoja doesn't get the immediate rematch, which I think he should, or he could look to fight Manel Kape or Tatsuro Taira and look to get a title shot there. But yeah, I think Figgy really at bantamweight doesn't have that same dominance about him that he did at flyweight. So I think, Umar's going to win this fight by a pretty decisive decision. But yeah, so those are my picks for the prelims. Let me know, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if they're shit or if they're good. And then I'll make my main card predictions later on. And then, I'll make a breakdown video after the event and see what I got wrong, see what I got right. But thank you for listening. Goodbye.